Hi, my name is Irene Nyaga, the Managing Director and Principal for Hallmark Institute of Professionals at Tvet College that is registered and regulated under the Ministry of Education through a body called Tveta. By now, I know so many of you have heard of this animal, if you may, that is called Tveta. Others have heard a body called Cdacc, and people have just been calling me regarding what happened in the recent past, because we were trying to understand what is it that Tveta would wake up one day and shut down an institution that we have known to have operated in this country for many years. Some of us are alumni of that institution, and we can guarantee that actually their programs have been run in an interesting way, that we are even beneficiaries of the same. Now, many people have been calling me trying to demystify and to understand what exactly is happening. And I just want to take this opportunity to say that Tvet colleges, or what we call middle level or tertiary colleges, do not just operate in a vacuum or in an open space. These colleges are, number one, registered as businesses under the registrar of companies. They can be companies limited by shares, or they can be companies limited by guarantee. They can be private companies, they can be public institutions, and that is the starting point. Over and above that, colleges go through another level of registration and regulation, and that is through the body that is now being called Tveta. Tveta stands for Technical, Vocational, Education and Training Authority. Now, Tveta have their standards. That is where we submit our registration, we submit our regulation, and we follow through the standards to register the institutions. And also it is important for me to add at that point to say that they also register and they regulate how the trainers in this industry works. So those are levels that we need to understand. Once a college or an institution has been registered by Tveta, then they go to the next level where they get what we call accreditation by the examining bodies. We have different examining bodies in this country, and what we have been hearing about a body called Tvet Cdacc, it stands for Technical, Vocational, Education and Training, Curriculum, Development, Assessment and Certification Council. Now, this is the body that is currently mandated to do curriculum development, to do assessment and to do certification under the ministry, basically focusing on what we are calling now the competence-based curriculums. It is simply one of the examining bodies in this country, but as you can hear, they have a broader mandate than just examining and licensing, because they also do what we are calling curriculum development, but they are focusing majorly on what we are calling the competence-based curriculum. Over and above Cdacc, we have other examining bodies like what we call the CASNEB. We are coming now from NEC as tertiary institutions. We have been given a directive to shift from NEC programs to the Cdacc programs, and that is a journey that we are taking because there is also a transitioning period. We also have other bodies like what we call the HRMPEB, which is the body that is mandated to do curriculum development, assessment and certification for the HR or human resource practitioners programs, including the CHRP, mostly known. We have the diploma in HR. We also have the certificate in HR. Now, when you look at all these examining bodies, they build from where Tveta has reached, because you have to be first of all registered by Tveta for you then to be accredited by the examining bodies to offer tuition and to guide students in as far as assessments are concerned. So now the question is, what is happening in this country? Year after year, season after season, Tveta will keep checking on whether you're keeping into the standards that they registered you to operate on. At the same time, they will be the safeguard so that when you're going to learn in that institution, when you're going to learn in that college, how do I know that a college that I'm registering in is actually Tveta registered? One of the ways to do that is actually to check on the Tveta website. The other way to do that is to check. When you go to every institution, and this is what exactly is happening at Hallmark, when you come to the reception, you will find that just the way we display what we call the business permit, we are also expected to display a letter from Tveta, or a license, or a permit from Tveta, showing that we are actually Tveta registered. That is one of the basic ways that you can be able to do that. Over and above that, of course, it is always good to consult and get to know, is this institution registered? The other thing I know that is, it may be quite a bit for the public, but it is an important point, is to get to understand which curriculum are you undertaking. We have different curriculums from different bodies. Like I have just mentioned, we have a curriculum that is developed and assessed and licensed through the body called Cdacc, which is the body I called Curriculum Development, Assessment and Certification Council. Now we have CASNEB. They also control curriculums. They control how trainings are being done by the institutions, and definitely they take lead in as far as examinations and certifications are concerned. I know this may be a lot for the publics to consume, but dear ones, it is important for you to always ask yourself, what curriculum am I going to undertake? Why is this important? It is important because, especially if you're looking for progression in academics and professional programs in the future, when you move from one institution to another institution, you will always be asked, what have you done before? What is your background? Do you have a certificate? Do you have a diploma? So that now you can progress to the degree level. You will always hear this thing that they always say, we need a diploma maybe from a recognized institution. For you to be able to shield yourself from bias in as far as judging what is the recognized institution or not, I would recommend, and this is my personal recommendation, if you're planning to do a course or a paper for the sake of progression, mostly I would recommend that you focus on national papers. These are papers that are now being accredited by the examining bodies that are nationally recognized and nationally authorized to offer those levels of the certifications. Now, in case you find yourself with an internal paper from an institution and you want to progress, there is likely to be a challenge, because the moment Hallmark decides that they don't recognize a paper from another institution, you may find yourself in a place where you're not able to move forward. But if you have a national paper from Kenya National Examination Council, from CASNEB, from HRMPEB, which is the body that it stands for Human Resource Practitioners Examination Board. If you have a paper from them, it's a national paper. You should be able to take it from one institution to another, and nobody should oppose it. But if it's an internal paper, I'm not dismissing internal papers. What I'm saying is they are also okay, but ask yourself, what do you want to achieve with this particular paper? So for now, we are waiting to see what happens to these institutions, because the reality is, when Tveta has decided that they are deregistering them and they are commanding them to shut their institutions, we will go back and start questioning the certificates that we have earned from there. But the thing is, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, I would recommend ensure that you are learning, you're sitting for exams, and you're getting certificates, especially for progression purposes, that are nationally recognized. From there, you can take it to other institutions, and you should also be able to take them even beyond the country when that time comes. So for many other questions and inquiries, please feel free to consult with us. We are willing to take you through career guidance when you're choosing those programs, and even walk a journey with you to assure you when you need to confirm whether an institution or a certification is acceptable in different other areas or not. But for now, we are looking out to see what will happen. This is yours, Teacher Irene Nyaga, Managing Director and Principal for Hallmark Institute of Professionals.